Really windy up here. Goodness. Where do we see that blowhole? We haven't seen any signs of it.
This way.
It's really raining. See how they're swimming over those reefs?
Coral. You know, we've got that little hexagon deal over there.
I'm zooming into that sign, but I can't tell what it says. What hexagon? What? What? What about it?
Hexagon ringlet.
Oh. I can't see what that is. It might be a little chilly swimming today.
Water.
Look at the size of that one. They come in all sizes.
We hop right there. We can fall down the rock there and go down. You know, these people just do what I do. Gonna go out further. Swim fans, we go a long way. You're gonna get tired.
I wonder what that sound is.
Is that his back or his ass?
I can't get a real close view of that kid digging a hole.
Da 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 da. Jane. No, me either. No, missed that one. I'll do it again.
Wavy right here. Yeah, top row one.
I got her. My buddy. Yeah, it's Canada. My buddy.
Yeah, look at this.
you wind it, oh, look, oh, my
That's a professional camera and a half.
No, that's old camera and they back in the 30s. Al Capone had it.
There goes your inheritance.
That's what I'm getting.
Pours water like every week. Just on the floor.
That's what
Pours water.
you gave me for Christmas.
Hi, Red.
But
Get you for Christmas a camera like this?
No,
yeah,
this
Brendan.
is when I grow my goatee next year. Then keep it trim. So it's right here.
Can he give you orders? I bet he can.
Yeah, rice me, but he's not my unit.
Super crisp, super clear. Asahi
So I just
Super
say
Dry.
hello to him with 4 fingers down.
And now it's enjoyed Japan's #1 beer. Asahi Super Dry.
Having Japan's cheapest beer. It's the
Just call me a smart ass.
Oh!
Smartass.
Sure. He better not have.
Feel free to backhand Gary, he gets it all the time, you know, just slap him and don't even look at him.
Is he like you? He doesn't like to be touched?
Oh, he likes to be
Gary
He
touched.
likes to be touched. Gay guy likes to be touched.
Especially by grown men.
By grown
naked
men.
Grown man.
You put up with a lot.
all the time.
Poor baby.
I know.
What's he gonna do? Happens all the
Well,
time.
pull him up.
You beat him up?
Move back to Iowa and check those sheep out.
No, the pigs. We don't have sheep.
I'm from Iowa, the men are men and the pigs are scared.
It's George W.
Oh God, I don't want to look at this man.
Gators in a Titanic Sunshine State showdown. With the top 2 teams in the country slip off their perches.
Come on, Miami.
This is on the line. The Ducks waddle.
Okay, how far are you from Nashville? You live a long way from Nashville.
3 states.
In the NFL,
Oh, where are you talking to here?
even get out of the barn.
Do you have trouble focusing?
Sometimes.
Okay, I'll just check.
How much insanity can Carter rain down on the Bucks? Now, we know
let's say
rivalry week
17 hours
plays.
for him.
Try to be
Oh,
simple.
That'd be less than a day.
Sports Center, busting a
This
move.
thing is 17, 18 hours.
Really?
Well, I don't know, I've never driven straight there, but my buddies that are at Fort Campbell, you know, the border, Tennessee,
Yeah.
Kentucky border,
Yeah.
I think they said it's approximately an 18-hour drive from there, so I'm kind of basing on there.
Busy day, full of state bragging rights now.
We're not driving to Nashville, are we?
One of the dikes created when molten lava worked its way up through the fissures in Earth's crust. These dikes consist of very dense rock and are impervious to the water. Rainwater is trapped inside porous rock layers sandwiched between impervious dikes. The water trapped between vertical dikes is called perch water because it is perched at a much higher elevation than normal underground water table. This perch water is the source of the potable water for much of the valley below.
It's the Navy over here. Navy base right down.
Right straight ahead.
Well, you see all those little buildings right there?
That over there too then?
No, that's civilian. This road wraps all the way down and comes out over there.
I sure don't see very much cactus up here, but there's some right up there.
There's a bunch of it when you drive down. There's a lighthouse down the other side of this cliff. On the other side of this little mountain right here. You follow the road down.
So that dark rock is lava.
Oh, it is?
According to this, vertical
That fence
veins
is new.
of dark rock can be clearly seen at several locations on the face of the cliff. These veins are known as dikes created when molten lava worked its way up through the fissures of the Earth's crust.
That's pretty out there.
Here's the story of the place for Aloha may have been a weapons production center for Hawaiian warriors over 100 years ago. When the present facility was built in 1934, silver stones were found on sites were identified as those used for sharpening spears and other Hawaiian war implements. Laui Laui Li has a number of meanings, one which means flexible reef, which is said to be called the war strategy of a chief who sent his ranks warriors to surround the invading armies with the reef, defeating them of a battle, Kappa 1410 AD. The name Loi Loi may also refer to a ring of mountain tops were used to lookout points to detect rival warriors approaching the Koli Koli Pass from windward side of the island. Many battles were fought here, and the name Koli Koli means red or raw meat, an apt description for hand-to-hand warfare of ancient times. There were 3 historical sites in the valley called Heiais. These were replaced with worship, sacrifice, and healing, which were utilized until the mid-1800s. The area was known for ranchlands in the late 1800s, and in 1912 was open for 2 homesteaders who worked the dry land without benefit of rocks or water systems. The land the Navy magazine has acquired from the McLandis estate in 1929, originally named the Naval Ammunition Depot, Oahu. The base was commissioned in 1934. The name was changed to Naval Magazine Loi Loi in 1974. It was through the Koli Koli Pass and through the valley that some Japanese aircraft
AC on it?
Yeah, but the lights blinking, so it's recording.
His hats will come down. You step on the gear, and here. The whole cockpit's leaning that way. It's like getting in like a dog.
You work on that one?
I used to.
You used to work on that plane or chopper itself?
Not that one itself. I think Vietnam. So is this one.
Vietnam?
Everyone that looks like this has seen time in the Nam. Look at that out.
A little bitty thing?
See the
Steak chips! Shit ass. A steak chip. supposed to be in there unloading right now. Did he say how big that was? Other than 9 stories.
He didn't know. I came over there.
Part of the stuff that was unloaded off the ship.
Look at all the trucks that are out now, way in the hell back there.
Oh my word.
It's all that shit hitting this shit. I think it's turned around here.
These are the choppers Gary works on. I'm just gonna look a little bit. He said the ones with the balls on top. It's supposed to be down here somewhere. Hopefully we don't get arrested for being here. There's another one of those weird trees. There's the boat. USS Fisher. Those are weird. Go ahead.
sit over, stand up on the step there and you can see it. Come on in. You're right here. Look at them. Look at them all. Those are not the lemurs. They're actually. Nicholas. And those are the striped lemurs. Thanks, Carl. Oh, look at that baby one. Oh my goodness, look at that. See him, Nick? I got it. See the white monkey over there? Look at the baby. Mommy's got his baby. Just like you. I think he's bigger. Come on, Nicholas. Yeah. Oh, that's a new baby.
Oh, there's some right there we can even see. Walk right by it. I was standing right there. Never can see.
Yeah.
The mountains.
Yeah. Well, I'll borrow the bow and arrow. One arrow ought to do it. Next
all
side
four
shot.
with a shot. One shot, I'm good. Got donuts on the side.
Nice butt shot.
Yeah, piggy piggy.
Read that sign a little bit.
Warthog. African savanna mammal is a hog. However, the bumps on its face are not warts, but cartilage pads that protect the animal's eyes and jaws during fights. A warthog usually backs into its underground burrow to face is unnecessary to protect himself with his sharp tusks and teeth. It runs like a great agility, holds in a tuffle tail erect like a flag. Hunt. I went on a zebra hunt and a white rhino, and I let them both go because they weren't big enough. I ran out of powdered donuts too.
Come here! Come here!
Llama, 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 llama.
Doesn't work, Sherry. Come here! Oh, here comes one. There's a big boy over there.
After we got done with the zebra and the white rhino, I decided to go after the big boy, the king of the beast. But he was resting, so I also let it go. And then after the safari lion, then we ran across a family of Petersons.
It's alright. I ain't working.
He's got just as much as he can possibly carry.
smell is very similar to Gary's hog confinement. Big kid. Sure, now they won't move.
Then we took a little boat down the Nile. I was perch fishing and crappie fishing, and I ran into this great big alligator. I thought it was a muskie, but Gene said it was an alligator. So we left him alone. Fish weren't biting anyway, so we left.
Okay, guys, let's go. Anna, find your
This is the Hawaiian goose called a nini. Sean, put your gun away. It's not a Canadian. And what's a turtle say, Sherry? Craw-craw. Craw-craw.
Okay.
Here's a peacock. There's your Iowa turkey.
That's what she thought it was.
Come here! Vince, come here! I'll see you.
We're getting real close to the damn things right here.
What?
H1. Then began to look pretty familiar. There's the stadium. While Wally couldn't wait to go to the flea market. He enjoyed every minute of it. Highway H1 going out to the Berries. We just think we know how to get there. Take North Shore to get to the Berries? I'll end up somewhere. naughty Carrie.
Introduce to you cliff diving traditions of early Hawaii. In ancient Hawaii, this beautiful valley was known as Ahupua'a o Waimea, the district of Waimea. And Ahupua'a is a natural land division that runs from the mountain all the way down to the sea and contains everything necessary to sustain life. Now the term Waimea comes from two words, Wai for water and Mea for red. Thus Waimea refers to as red, fresh water. Now, whenever our white lily, our waterfall expands in size, iron oxide mineral is picked up from red soil and red ochre rock on this part of the island. As a result of our pool, and even the waterfall itself will turn dark red. These expansions are exclusively the results of the rain throughout the valley system and can be quite dramatic. Woo! The waterfall can extend in width all the way up to and even beyond the points from which you have seen our divers entering the water. Now in 1894, massive flooding drove the inhabitants out of the valley forevermore, and again in 1990 a flood of similar proportions closed our valley for 5 months. Yet today, Waimea is, as it always was, a vibrant, very special, and very sacred place. So, aloha, ihiwahila'a. Love and respect this beautiful place. Now, the Ro'oan spot of diving dates back to the late 1700s and the famous Hawaiian chief, King Kahekili. King Kahekili was the ruler of the islands of Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and this island of Oahu. He achieved a great reputation for bravery by climbing and jumping from these cliffs and others, proving his courage to his warriors gathered around the pool beneath him. In fact, there's a spot on each of these islands that he ruled that is called Kahekili's Leap. One on Maui, Molokai, Lanai, and this island of Oahu on the south shore of Makapu'u Point. Now, the only other place where you can consistently view cliff diving is in Acapulco, where you will witness the free-form swan dive performed by local Mexican divers. Well, it is quite easy to visualize the early Hawaiians performing their own versions, diving headfirst over the outcropping rocks like an eel, a Hawaiian hawk in flight after its prey. In fact, beautiful diving such as this has been a tradition here in Hawaii for more than 200 years, from the days of the legendary kings Kahekili and Kamehameha the Great until now. That is the challenge that Kauai faces from our 35 feet level to dive headfirst over the outcropping rocks like an eel, a Hawaiian hawk. Watch as he performs his interpretation of Lu'ukino Mehemanu Io, across of our Wailele. As graceful as a bird in flight across the face of our falls, that is your diver, Kalai! Maika Ikalai, a beautiful swan dive. As new heights are conquered, another way to meet someone's challenge would be to try a more difficult or more creative dive evoking some other element of nature. Now perhaps some would try twisting like a leaf in the wind, or tumbling like a boulder up Oahu on a hill. Well, let's now turn over to Iokua and our other 35 feet perch as he meets Kalai's challenge by performing his interpretation of Lu'ukino Mehepohaku Hi Olo.
Hello, fake fame. Hello, fake fame. How are you here? Illimania Garani. Hello, fake fame. How are you here? Illimania Garani. Oh, I can't.
Like a rolling boulder from 35 feet, you're a diver. Iokua! Maika Iokua, a beautiful rolling dive. Woo! Now, in keeping with these and many other Hawaiian traditions, this valley has more. Recently hosted competitions of world-class calibers. These included the first Women's World Cliff Diving Championship and the only Men's and Women's Mixed Doubles Cliff Diving Championship. Now, you may have seen these on Wide World Sports or ESPN. While drawing from these competitions, our divers will now challenge each other to a very unique feat. One that demonstrates reconciliation of style, harmony, and effort. Now, both divers will be leaving their rock perches at the same time, performing both manu and pohaku, bird and boulder actions in the air, and attempting to strike the water simultaneously. Exhibiting harmony and action and spirit in the air, they will both be entering the water, feet first, lelikava, at better than 48 feet high, and almost 40 miles an hour. Oh, this sure can get interesting. So if you have a camera with you, I suggest that you get them ready, for this dive makes a beautiful photograph. Woo! And now, from our Twin Peaks, Iokua and Kalai, the tandem dive.
Ai, he mele no ka uhinilele. Oh, he ho ea uiela I orani. Ike kani ele a oagia I o vene one higa ole hala. Hello, ike kulu kulu a o moi. Hey, hey, hene, 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 hene. Wagia ka uhini.
Side by side position teamwork, your tandem team, Iokua and Kalai. Maika guys, a beautiful front flying somersault dive from 48 feet high. Maika guys. And now, ladies and gentlemen and children, the dive that I am sure all of you have been waiting for, that high dive. Well, to locate that high dive perch, and he wants all of you to look straight across the pool. You will see a rock outcropping to the left, above the pool, 60 feet above the pool. Now, as our divers are getting into position for their dives, I am going to cover some physical aspects of this area. The most noticeable aspect of this area, of course, is our waterfall itself. It stands 45 feet high, is fed exclusively by the rain. Therefore, the strength and the size of our waterfall depends upon the amount of rain further back in the valley system. Now, in 1984, the waterfall dried up, and also the whole pool evaporated. But do you know, prior to that, our diving program still continued to where our divers were doing 75 feet into only 8.5 feet of water. That was crazy. You know, in Hawaiian we call that pupuli, yeah. Well, just about 2 weeks ago from this past Sunday, our waterfall broke open really wide. The water from the pool came all the way up to this cement area right here. 2 weeks ago, the waterfall was 50 feet wide at the top. And to give you an idea how big that waterfall was, if you look over there where Iokua is, all the way on the other side where Kalai is standing, that is how wide our waterfall was 2 weeks ago from this past Sunday. Whew! Can you just imagine? Well, now that I have your attention on Kalai, we're going to give Iokua a chance to catch his breath on the way to the high dive perch. And as he is doing so, Kalai is going to do a wonderful Hawaiian dive for all of you. Take it away, Kalai. I want everyone to watch that water, how high it goes. Woo! Whoa! How about that? 35 feet high. What a bomb. That is what you call a Hawaiian dive, Kalai Maikai. Very wonderful. Yes, indeed. You know, after several weeks of very little rain, obviously our waterfall will start to dwindle in size, clearing the pool to a beautiful blue-green with a visibility of as much as 15 feet deep. Now, the center of our pool is 30 feet deep, and where you see the divers enter the water, it is 8 to 15 feet deep and 2 to 3 feet deep around some of the edges due to submerged rocks and ledges. And now, ladies and gentlemen and children, the dive that you are about to witness is the ultimate dive here at the park for a number of reasons. Not only must the diver contend with a height of 60 feet, a speed of approximately 50 miles an hour upon his impact with the water. In addition, there are submerged rocks, ledges, and trees that he has to contend with. And because of all of these dangers, it has become a custom here in the valley to let the diver know that we are right down here behind him, wishing him well. He is well over 100 feet away from all of us, and with some noise from that waterfall to contend with. We're going to have to be loud, okay? So please join me. Put your hands and voices together and show your support for your feature high diver, Yokua! Wow, he gave us that shaka sign. He says, Mahalo nui loa, which means thank you very much, and so do I. You're all great. All right, Yokua. Whenever you're ready, Malama Pona, take care. Have a great dive. Woo! And now, ladies and gentlemen and children, the 60 feet high A beautiful black-fly somersault dive from 60 feet. You're a diver, Yokua! Maikai Yokua. A hand for him, please. And a hand for his teammate there, Kalai! Maikai! Woo! Yes. What one might be. Woo-hoo! To be at ease is such a dream. I'll smile at everyone I meet. That's the Hawaiian in me. Oh yeah. 1, 2, yourself, and take a bow. Well done, Mike Cotton. To check for your personal belongings before you leave. Also, if you have any trash to throw away, we do have a trash can right down the sidewalk here. So please join us and throw your rubbish away. Malama the Aina, take care of our land. Also, don't forget, at 1:30, we have, at the Hawaiian Center, you will witness a beautiful more of the hula kahiko, the ancient style of hula. Games demonstration, a hula implements demonstration, and also, we have weapons that our ancestors made many, many years ago. Mahalo, thank you again for joining us. You're wonderful.
First family to focus.
Okay, why? Just reach through?
No, I just put be back where you were.
Okay.
I had it on his shoulder.
Okay. Okay.
Nothing? That's it. It's the end of the roll.
Oh.
I know what no, it counts, but sometimes you get 24.
Yeah. I got it.
Then you get 25 and then it's on.
Like my kids.
Very much.
Ani makmai e wai mea ma amo puni o wahu me kawai lele e ui ma avaina e kukui I kauka o namani o lak mo o lelo e iwa ava o wai mea nani makmai nani e Ali e ola mako a Paulo ala huino ke kapume na Ali e ola mako a Paulo ala ya la ya la ya ah Mahalo, thank you. The threaded edge of a sharp tooth provided one of the sharpest cutting tools available in Hawaiian culture. Realizing the weapons contained from 1 to 30 sharp teeth which were firmly fastened to bone, wood, or fiber. The leomani could be a solid wood weapon like the one Kamaki is holding, or could be carved out in the middle like the one Kainoa is holding. The advantage to having the middle carved out is that the weapon attacking moves could be faster or more lethal. Now I would like to ask our Kane to demonstrate how the weapon were used. Kamaki would try to attack Kainoa. Maukoko? Oya! Give a hand for words. There is no defense against this weapon. And these weapons were made from a koa wood, or prize wood here in the islands. Now I would like to share with you 2 exercises that the warriors use to prepare themselves for warfare. The first one is what we call uma, or arm wrestling. So patient, let's all say, Wamau Koko.
Wamau Koko.
Let's say, Oya. Huki, Kane and audience say, Huki. Huki means to pull. Cheer for your favorite word. We have Kamaki on your left and Kainoa on your right. Say, Huki. Put those hands together and clap for your warrior. Say, Huki! Huki, Kane, Huki! Oh wait, no cheating there. Huki, Kane! Huki! Huki! Huki, Kane! Huki! Huki! Huki, Kane! Oh. My cutting. Next, what we have is called Pa'uma. Stand here. Huki! Huki, Kane! Huki! Huki, Kane! Come on, audience out there, cheer for your warrior. Say Huki! Huki! Huki, Kane, Huki! Huki, Kamaki, Huki, Kainoa! Huki! 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 Oi, oi! Huki! Huki, Kane! Huki, Huki! Huki, Kane! Huki, Maki, Huki, Kainoa! Lava! Huki! Huki, Kane! Huki! We never say Huki, Huki. Micah, you give her words a hand. Now here comes
Miss Poppins, tuppence a bag, feeding the birds. Tuppence, Tuppings. Feed the birds. Tuppings a bay. Tuppings.
How about the birds?
Tuppings. Tuppings a bay.
Does it get out of my hand?
I don't know, put your hand down there. One way to find out. She's trying to tame the wild animals. Will she succeed? Oh, look at that. Wildlife at its fish is just eating her hand raw. Eat your heart out, crocodile hunter. You ain't got nothing on my mom. She gets wild mourning doves to eat out of her hand. The vicious, look at the curl in the eyes. Just hungry. They want food. Oh, they're just dying for it. The vicious man-eating.
Waimea Beach?
Bay.
Bay.
That's not sure.
Those championships are not going on anymore?
Yeah, they'll go until December something. 20th.
You see them sitting out there, but they're not riding anything.
Nothing to ride.
I'll sit there for hours waiting for a wave.
Yep.
Oh, there they are. Haven't seen anybody ride one yet. All swallowed up.
They're still in there. Couple people left.
They're way out there. Sunset Beach on North Shore. They're out there trying to surf, but not doing too good.
I'm not worried about the truck, man. I don't know where the it's set against the board right now until we get the rest of the situation. See that?
Email Amy last night.
Swan. Y'all watch the storm again, Gary?
The storm?
Never made it.
So did y'all make it on the submarine?
Yeah.
That was cool.
Caught a couple sharks.
Was it worth the money?
Yes.
Yeah, $22.
Over there and talk more, big shit.
That was cool. I really enjoyed that.
How much y'all paid for it? 22?
Huh?
22 a person?
Oh, we got cable ties.
Oh, I got it.
Ties, man, either.
Oh, was that what?
Kick in the ass. You don't kick in the ass, you slap the ass.
Oh, no.
You don't kick.
Got the camera out.
Funny. It's
Got
okay.
that.
It's funny.
Here, that's you.
Thing for one man. Carters for short. Anybody else bring your?
What'd you do to the little wire tank?
People in for
Probably in that
You always do that.
brown bag.
no,
Just because you're special now?
no, you can't with the coupon. You're coming out of card. You can't. Only you.
I got Gary on tape doing the hula. You want to see?
Oh, you take mine.
Sure you did
I was out there, yeah. I don't like shoes upon my feet.
So I ain't gonna wear them.
I ain't gonna wear 'em.
Got a picture of,
Well,
show you some.
How big is this sub?
well, that's you.
Yeah, I see no.
Margot.
Making apple pie now.
Ooh, apple pie. Wallace, apple pie.
All right. Reyes, this thing's shot.
Starting to, oh, there's the bird.
Pumpkin and pecan pie in the oven right now.
Poor birds.
God.
Good girl. Throw away roaster pans.
Don't need that out of it. Now, when you do this, you have to be real slow. Moisture on the inside of water. How about if we just put it right on the side here and we'll take it out with the... Take that one. There,